Good morning, guys. I am going to make this video short and sweet. I think as long as you understand how to find the area of basic polygons, it should be okay for finding volume. I think with the first part with rectangular prisms, it is a very easy concept. I think it's also one that you've hopefully seen in middle school. So if we jump right into that, the volume formula is here. So all you're going to do is take the length, the width, and the height and multiply them all together. Okay? Now, since we're using volume and we're actually using cubes and we're finding that space within the cubes or within the rectangular prism, now instead of using square units, we're going to actually use cubed units. Okay? So that's the one big difference with volume, is that you use cube units. So starting off with number 1, I'm just going to take my length, my width, and my height and multiply them together to get a volume of 9 times 17 times 24. And so the volume is 3,672 centimeters cubed. Okay, and that's as easy as it gets. So for number 2, again, this can be my length, this can be my width, and this can be my height. So volume is 4.5 times 14 times 10. So the volume is 630 inches squared. Not squared, cubed, my bad. And now you're going to do number 3 for homework. So make sure you turn that in. Okay, the next part of this is we're going to talk about prisms in general. So if you think about it, when you were finding area of just squares, all you were doing to find the area was you were taking length times width. And now, if we look at cubes, we're taking length times width times the height. So the height is what's causing this to have volume, and it's what's actually making this a 3D figure. So I want you to think about how if I found for any other prism is just made up of 2 bases that are parallel to each other. So if I know the area of my bases, then I would just have to multiply that area by the height of the prism, and then I would get the total volume. So again, we have this uppercase B. That uppercase B is standing for the area of the base, and then H is going to be the height between the bases, okay? So it's not going to be the height necessarily that you use for your base. It's going to be between the bases. So this is a good picture. This is showing one of the bases, the other base is here. Another good way to always figure out which one's your base is your bases should never be touching each other. So you wouldn't say this side and this side are base because those two are touching each other here. But if I look at these triangles, the triangles are never going to touch. So that's why those are the bases. And then the space between them is their height. Okay, and so we're just going to take the area of the base times the height. So for number 4, I'm dealing with a triangular prism. So I'm going to find the area of this triangle because that's going to be my base. And let me just highlight that. The area formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So then if I look at that picture, my triangle should have a base. Let's see. This would be my base because this side is this side that's making the right angle with the altitude. So the altitude, that's going to be my height. So H is 7.3. And then my base is what is forming that perpendicular angle with the height. And so that has to be this side. Well, I don't actually know what this side is, but if I look right across. This side is 12 feet. This is also the same side of the other base that would correspond to this side. So that means this base side is also 12. Okay. So 1/2 times 12 times 7.3 gives me a base area of 43.8. Okay, so just my base is 43.8. Now I need the height between the bases. So if here is my triangle and my other triangle is behind it, I need this side or this side or this side. Oh, well, there it is right there, 5 feet. So the height between the bases is 5 feet. So my volume, it has to be 43.8 times 5 to get a volume of 219 feet cubed. Okay, I think you guys can do number 5. Again, make sure you find the area of your base. Your base is here. This picture is very easy to see, I think, much easier than 4. So you should have no issues with 5. But again, always let me know if you want to double check your answer before you submit. With 6 already looks a little bit different. It looks like it has a few more faces, and that is because it is actually a trapezoidal prism. So the trapezoid becomes my base. So the area of a trapezoid formula is 1/2 the height of the trapezoid times the bases added together. Okay, so already I see that my bases would be these green lines here and here. So this top one is going to be 36 meters because it's right across from that one. So the area is going to be 1/2, leave a space for my height, 36 plus, and then the other base is 14. Now I need to find my height. My height is actually this dotted line right here that is forming the right angle with another one of my bases. So the height is 17.9 meters. Okay, so the area would be 1/2 times 17.9 times the sum of 36 plus 14. So the area of that figure turns out to be 475.2. No, 447.5. So then to find the volume, I'm going to take the base area, which was 447.5, and then multiply that by the distance, or however you want to think about the height between the bases. So my other base is behind this one, so I'm looking for whatever side I can get, any of these blue sides, and there I have a match. So that is telling me that these two trapezoidal bases are 25 meters apart. So my height between the bases is 25. So then my volume turns out to be 11,187.5 meters cubed. All right, so in 7, I have what appears to be a triangular prism. So here is one of the triangles, and then the other one would be there. So because those are my bases, those have to be congruent to each other. So since this straight side is 28 kilometers there, that means this is also 28 kilometers for the blue triangle. Okay, and then I know the horizontal side or the slanted side is 32.5 on both of these. And then this 31 kilometers, that's going to be the distance between my two bases, or the height between the bases. So I'm already going to mark that. as my H. Okay, now I need to find the area of my base. And so the area is going to be 1/2 the base times the height of the triangle, of just one of the triangles. So if I look at, let's do this blue triangle. The height of this triangle would be 28, and then the base would be this side down here. I don't know exactly what that side is yet, but I do know this is a right triangle, so I can actually use Pythagorean theorem, like we've been doing so often, to figure out what this actual side is. So that's another leg because it's making up that right angle. So I'm going to have x squared plus 28 squared equals 32.5 squared. And then I'm going to subtract 28 squared from 32.5 squared to get x squared equals 972.25, and then I'm going to take the square root of both sides to figure out what that base side is to get x equals 16.5. Okay, so that would be my base in my area formula of the base. And so take 1/2 16.5 times the height. We already said the height was going to be 28. And so the area of that triangle turns out to be 231. So now I can use that area of the base and the height between the bases to find volume. And volume is going to be 231 times 31 to get 7,161 kilometers cubed. Okay, so for number 8, I thought I would give you a hint. If I were to draw one of these trapezoids, one of your bases, it would look something like this if you just flipped it. This side is going to be 25. You're going to have to figure out what the height is, okay? But you should use Pythagorean theorem, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. This slanted side is 30.6. This distance right here is actually 14.4. The entire distance of the base is 39.4. Okay. And that should be all you need to figure out how to solve number 8 and how to find the volume. Last but not least, we're going to talk about cylinders. So cylinders, again, are pretty easy as long as you understand where the area's formula is coming from, and then you're just multiplying by the height. So the area of a circle is pi times r squared. Then we're just going to multiply it by the height of the cylinder to get the volume. So for number 9, I'm given that 18 inches is the radius and 15 inches is the height. So to find my volume, I'm just going to plug everything into that formula. Pi times r squared, which is 18 squared, times the height, which is 15, to get a volume of 15,268.14, that's a 4, I swear, inches cubed. Okay, so again, it is important to understand the difference between radius and diameter. So halfway from the center to the outer edge of the circle, that is your radius. All the way across the circle is your diameter. The radius should be half of your diameter, so that should help you out in number 10. But number 10 is also on your quiz today. And let me know if you guys need any help. And just so you know, tomorrow is the last day of new notes. After tomorrow, that's all we got, okay? The rest of next week will just be review over volume and surface area, and we're probably going to have a bigger quiz on this on Wednesday. So just be prepared. But yeah, only one more day of like notes, really. So that's all I got. Have a great rest of your day, and let me know if you need any help.